Oh, make the shitty weather stop. Maybe I can get rid of this headache then. I read the headline, so I knew I needed to talk about it because it just didn't make sense. Resist white supremacy, a sign, a farm, and the fury that followed. Who could be mad at a sign that says resist white supremacy? I just don't understand. So let's read on. It had been a week since the road sign had gone up near the entrance of their 116-acre farm in Northern Virginia, and the furious emails, calls, and Facebook messages were still pouring in. The responses didn't surprise the owners of Cox Farms, who had long taken politically charged stands on their land, locally famous for its massive fall festival. In 2015, a Black Lives Matter poster led a local police union to call for a boycott of their hay rides and pumpkin patches. And last year, a pair of signs, "We love our Muslim neighbors" and "Immigrants make America great," sparked some backlash. Now, in a way, I can see why the police would be upset with the Black Lives Matter poster, because as an organization, I do not support BLM whatsoever. But the idea that Black Lives Matter, yes, they do just as much as anybody's. But their latest, Rise and Resist, had triggered a particularly angry reaction last week from conservatives. No real shocker there, who had seen a photo of it online and viewed the slogan as an attack on President Trump. What about 8 years of attacks on President Obama? I'm just saying, be consistent with your messages. You're either fine with attacking the president or you're not. So Aaron Cox Lowe, who runs the operations side of the 46-year-old business in Centerville, started thinking of some new language that everyone could agree on. Almost 6 months to the day since neo-Nazis and white nationalists marched through Charlottesville with torches, Aaron's sister had an idea. And it's a good idea. Maybe we should change Rise and Resist to Resist White Supremacy, Lily Cox Richard texted her. That way, if someone takes a picture of one of our signs to post and say they are saddened or disappointed, they will be explicitly revealing themselves as the racists that they are. Yeah, Aaron responded, that sounds good. And it does, because, I mean, how can you have a problem with Resist White Supremacy? I don't get it. On Friday afternoon, down came Rise and Resist and up went Resist White Supremacy. About an hour later, a message from a woman named Rebecca, whose Facebook profile was an image that read Team USA, popped up in Cox Farms' Facebook Messenger inbox. Whatever your own personal agendas are, none of us wants to see them on display at a place we once enjoyed going to for tradition. It's truly disappointing. If you're so butthurt about Resist White Supremacy, a message that just says resist racism, you have to look within yourself and think, maybe I have problems. Maybe there's something I'm trying to figure out, because maybe I'm just a racist. The vitriol only intensified in the hours that followed, which baffled Aaron. Who other than a white supremacist would be offended by a message condemning white supremacy? She also understood, though, that this is America in 2018, a time of such fierce division that even voicing opposition to the ugliest beliefs could be twisted or taken out of context. Yeah, it is. It's also America in 2018 when everybody's triggered by everything, so, of course. On Saturday, in a Facebook post that has drawn more than 43,000 reactions and nearly 15,000 shares, she addressed the furor. Our little roadside signs have power, Aaron began before explaining why they sometimes shared their opinions. Cox Farms is a small family-owned and family-operated business. The 5 of us are not just business owners, we are human beings, members of the community and concerned citizens of this country. We are also a family, and our shared values and principles are central to our business. Aaron's father and his brother, whom she described as hippies, started Cox Farms on a 40-acre plot near Herndon in '72. Even in those early days, she heard later, some people were sometimes offended by the family's signs, although those were often just off-color plays on their last name. This story's author, by the way, is not related to the farmers. I like that they put that in there, just to be clear. Eventually, her dad and mom took over, and the business evolved, moved, and expanded. Their first experience with real controversy came in 2000, when conservative activists accused the farm of promoting gay rights because of 2 rainbow flags that flew over tunnels made of hay. The flags hadn't been bought for that reason, but Aaron's parents, Gina and Eric, learned what they symbolized and embraced the idea. Aaron, a lesbian, had come out to them 5 years before the upheaval. It's still amazing that so many people are like, gays shouldn't be equal. Yes, that was 17, 18 years ago, but it's still, people think like that today, and it's pathetic. It's an embarrassment. At some point, it looked like we could be facing a significant impact on our business, Aaron recalled, but the family didn't flinch and instead rallied supporters to their cause. It was a record-breaking season, she said, by far the best we'd ever had. Aaron, whose partner is of mixed race, also didn't back down after the threat of a boycott 3 years ago over the Black Lives Matter poster she put in a window in their home, which stands in the middle of the sprawling property. We're not seeking to alienate folks who have different perspectives on tax reform or infrastructure spending, Aaron said in her recent Facebook post. But when it comes to speaking out against systems of oppression and injustice, we see it as our moral responsibility to use our position of privilege and power, along with the tools of our trade and the platform available to us to engage visibly and actively in the fight for justice. Our roadside sign messages are one small way we do this. Her post went viral, spreading rapidly along both right and left-leaning groups, who then descended on the farm's Facebook page to give either 1 or 5-star reviews that had nothing to do with kettle corn or apple cider donuts. Which, okay, first off, that type of behavior is childish, infantile, and pathetic and needs to stop. Secondly, I think I want to go there because I love kettle corn, and apple cider donuts just sounds really good. So, if you've ever had apple cider donuts, leave a comment down below and let me know how they are. For Aaron, though, the blowback presented an opportunity. To change people's minds even by just a degree or two required communication that was respectful but honest. And here was a chance to talk to people who disagreed with her. Lots of them. And how much do you want to bet the ones that disagreed weren't that polite? Let's find out. Resist white supremacy is not an inclusive message, complained Patty Weston. What? I'm not even trying her last name. Who lives in Louisa, Virginia. When you single out a group of people, you exclude them. This is a sad message. Who gives a rat's furry little ass crack? Yeah, exclude white supremacists. Exclude people that are racist. Exclude people that are filled with hate. It's not that offensive to do. Anybody with half a brain would be okay with it. Yes, generally speaking, we are comfortable excluding white supremacists, responded Aaron, who studied psychology at Smith College in Massachusetts. If you know some who would be interested in dialoguing with us, please have them contact us. Aaron, I think you were talking to one. I'm just putting that out there. Maybe. Shannon Lee Sibley from nearby Ashburn contended that she also supported fighting hate groups, but wouldn't spend her money at the farm because it would never post a Blue Lives Matter sign in support of police. Admittedly, I wouldn't either. I'd do probably the more racially divisive thing and put an All Lives Matter sign. But put up any of the 3 signs, you're going to get hate, so. You're right, Shannon. We do not support Blue Lives Matter. Police lives are already and by default valued in our society, she wrote. Yes and no. By people with common sense and decency, yes they are. But by those who don't have common sense or decency, they're not. So to say just a blanket statement like that, I wouldn't have done that myself. Black lives are not, so we believe that a declaration that Black Lives Matter is necessary and important. Again, I don't agree with this because I value Black lives as much as I do my own. It doesn't matter the race. All lives are equal. Except pedophiles and child molesters. Fuck them. But anyway, all lives are equal. All lives matter. Therefore, Black Lives Matter, Blue Lives Matter, it's kind of redundant because all lives do matter. So, I wouldn't have put up a Blue Lives Matter poster either. I wouldn't have put up a Black Lives Matter poster. I would have put up all lives because all lives are important. All lives do matter. And as soon as people start to realize, hey, don't get offended because somebody says all lives instead of black or blue, then things will start to get better, hopefully. But until then, people aren't going to learn, so what's the point in trying? Oh, that's right, to try to convince people that all people are equal. But anyway, so black supremacy is okay then? Asked Lisa Lewis. This is not a message of love. This is a message out to divide people even more. I would never ever visit your farm because you try to force your views on your customers. That is wrong no matter what you say.
We appreciate that, but that is quitter talk.
Well, my response to Lisa? Hun, it's a sign. Read it or don't. They're not standing there holding your head like in A Clockwork Orange. Eyes wide open, forcing you to look at their sign. That's it. Drive past, read it, don't read it, doesn't matter. You stop being so triggered about it. Lisa, when we talk about white supremacy, we're referring to a systemic racism that is much deeper and more pervasive than any individual or group could be. Aaron replied, Black people do not have the institutional power in our society to benefit from so-called black supremacy. It just doesn't work like that. I mean, she's not wrong, but I wouldn't say in 100% correct, but more right than wrong. I'd say about 95% right. Because not everything is racist in a systemic way, so to say it is a little dishonest, but overall, she's right, so let's just leave it at that. On Monday, Aaron wrote a follow-up post thanking the thousands of people who had offered support and who vastly outnumbered the critics. Shocker. She dismissed the idea, though, that what the farm had done, making a statement that could potentially harm its business, was in any way brave. She pointed instead to dozens of immigrant dreamers who had demonstrated against the threat of deportation at the U.S. Capitol. So, I think I'll just leave it there. If you want to read it, as always, link is in the description below. I think it's safe to say that people that are offended by a sign that's saying resist white supremacy, they need to look inward and see why they're upset. Because the sign could read resist any form of supremacy. Some people somewhere would find a way to be upset about it. And I don't mean literally the words resist any form of supremacy. I mean like resist, insert whatever form of supremacy you'd like here. And people would find a way to be upset about it. And the people that are upset about it need to look inward and see why are they mad about it. Is there a reason for being mad about it based on their own forms of racism? Or is it something that is just minute that you don't need to be upset about?